meantime, video 2 for today, and before I forget, if you like these videos, please actually just do it right now, because you're going to like this, I promise. Go ahead and hit the like button, and then subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, there are t-shirts for sale at the back end of these. I throw in a t-shirt commercial. Today, let's talk a little bit about, I've said in the past on my channel, I've stayed politically neutral as much as I can, but I have to give credit when credit's due, and I credit this administration for peace with North Korea, which, a long time coming. Again, if peace breaks out with Iran in a similar fashion, which I have my fingers crossed is going to happen, it's going to be hard for me to not support his re-election, because that would be two major flashpoints in the world that he's quelled. But more importantly than that, and I've talked about this a number of times, if he is able to dismantle the Fed, nationalize the Fed, or otherwise rein in the Federal Reserve and get us to sound money, hands down, I believe I can trace all of the ills of the world to our central banking system and the use of fiat money as opposed to sound money. So I say that because recently in the news, a former Fed president, I don't remember his name, but I'll find the article and put it up probably right here. He came out and said that, hey, the Federal Reserve, because it's an independent body and because its policies can affect so many things, right? Because they're talking about money, which reaches every aspect of our society. The Federal Reserve, if they don't like the president, they can go ahead and do whatever the hell they want. And to the point where he was basically saying, we don't like President Trump, so let's actively, there's a former president, right? So he's not sitting in that seat right now, but this gives you a mindset of the people who have served as president of the Federal Reserve. He's basically saying, since we don't like this president, the Federal Reserve should actively side with China and with other countries to undermine the policies of this administration. So time out, all right? We've elected, and maybe you didn't vote for him, but he won the election fair and square. No one's arguing that. So the majority of Americans voted for this administration. Nobody votes for the board of the Federal Reserve, right? They're appointed, the president appoints them, supposedly, but the final approval is really just up to the Federal Reserve themselves. They're an independent body, and they say that this independence helps us, divorce monetary policy from politics. Well, here this guy is openly calling for the Fed's involvement in politics, and I would argue that they've been involved in politics all the time. They just never talk about it, right? Anytime that they change interest rates, they know this has an effect on the policies of the administration, whichever administration is in power. So in the past, since the administrations didn't buck the Federal Reserve or didn't buck the system entirely, then the Fed's just happy to play along with whatever that administration wanted. And I would say that goes back through Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush, all of them, right? Now you have a president who's saying, wait a minute, the Federal Reserve's policies are bad for our country, bad for the working people, and it's just not sound money what they're doing. They're constantly looking for inflation, constantly pumping more money, more liquidity into the system, further devaluing the value of each dollar. Once again, you got a bunch of trading baseball cards, right? And you've got 87,000 copies of the Carl Yastrzemski card. It's so common. Carl Yastrzemski, I'm going way back. But if you got so many, that card is so common, it's not valuable as it were if there were only 3 copies of that card, because there's only 3. Everybody wants it. So same with monetary policy. If you put more liquidity, more money in circulation, more dollars in circulation, each one is valued less and less and less. So all that to say, the Fed's policies are not a reflection of the electorate's desires, and they're openly admitting that now. So if this administration, I actually wouldn't care which administration, the administration that takes down that system and returns the country to sound money, sound fiscal policy, is an administration I'm going to back, because then you get better banking systems, you get more access to true capital, so better investments, including in the rural and the disenfranchised communities. Right now, you've got this system where they're pumping money into the system, but really they're pumping money into the hands of the people who already have a whole bunch of money, the banking system. So it doesn't really drain it. The reason why you haven't seen massive inflation right now is because all that pumping of the money into the system has been going to pay off the debt of these banks that are over leveraged and just like completely insolvent. So they're pumping money into the system and giving it to their banks, right, to further uphold this, to keep the system going. I keep on saying that there's going to be some kind of massive change coming up soon. It's going to be hardship for everybody. I will not, and I'm talking about the recession, I'm not laying that in the hands of the administration. I would lay that right at the feet of the policies of the Federal Reserve that have not just been through this administration, but through all prior administrations going back gosh, I guess to its founding. So yes, we could leave it alone and maybe not have the hardship and just pass that hardship on to our kids and our kids and our grandkids. I don't think that's very fair to them. I think that's not us standing up for our responsibility and saying, let's have the hardship now, transition into a hard money system so that our kids have a much safer and easier life and less conflicts in the world, those kinds of things. I would lay the world wars at the feet of the banking system as well, and that's a longer story that I'm not going to go into in this video. But I'm telling you, I have read and seen enough to now be convinced that all the ills that we've had in the past are all the fault of not having a sound money system. Whew, I get out of breath when I do these things. I do a bunch of them. So, like I said, you like this video, right? How could you not like this video? I popped up an article on everything. So please like the channel and subscribe, and then check out the t-shirts at the back end. There's some good stuff too. Cheers. Earl's also a hero. And you can be too. Check out the Earl as a Hero shirts in our Threadless store.